he started getting heated when I was asking, when we were talking about the actual intervention, and I just backed off and kind of shut down.
Okay.
And I found myself thinking, I can't live like this with him. I can't, every time I go to ask a question, if he gets upset, then backing down and we never go anywhere.
That's what it was. Okay, I do remember that. So yes, of bringing something up, the other person getting triggered or frustrated, projecting some of that frustration back, and so either shutting down, or in other cases, some people, we're fighters or flighters. So it's either we shut down and go, I want to walk on eggshells just to keep the peace, or other people go, well then I will overpower you and come back. That's right, that's what it was. And we started talking about the whole process of external processing, external dialoguing,
Yes.
And being able to say, and I forget the terminology, but we were talking about, it seems something I just said has either triggered you or led to frustration.
And why didn't I think of that?
Well,
Because typically I lie more towards the coming back at you attitude, so it was weird for me to be pulling back too.
Well, but so and it sounds like so you're focused on your growth and going, well, I want to continue to grow and to be here. However, I don't want this dialogue where if I say something, he comes back at me, and so I just won't say it. And that's very normal for a lot of people, is just to say, well, I'll just keep the peace. And that leads to a lot of destruction down the line. And so recognizing that, what was so neat of hearing you process through and going, well, I don't want that kind of relationship where I'm not able to or have permission to bring things up. So how do I navigate that? Yeah. That's kind of the theme of it. And there's a lot of different ways, but in that instance, it was if you sense that frustration, oh man, something I said seems to have frustrated you. Will you share with me what you're experiencing? And again, that open dialogue, so the person can say whatever it is. Well, what do you think he would have done and gone back to saying if you would have said that?
If I would have said that and he would have said it, he probably would have calmed down right away, realizing he wasn't being attacked. Because I think he interpreted it as being attacked. And we probably could have had a great conversation, and then I wouldn't have walked away carrying with it, what's he thinking? What's he gonna do? Is this
where we go to becoming the fortune teller and does he think this, do that. So yeah, a lot of the times that's the beauty of the emotional acuity, or they call it emotional intelligence now. I think that's the buzzword.
Yeah.
But being able to pick that up and go, ooh, I don't feel as connected with you right now as I did before.
Yeah. Can
you help me understand what led to that disconnect? Am I reading into it, or are you feeling that way too?
Again, so easy.
It's simple but not easy.
But yeah.
Because remember, we are emotional beings. It's a beautiful thing and it sucks at times. Yeah. But by understanding, going, oh, of course, when there's emotions evolved, the rational part of the brain doesn't really work too well, and so we tend to go to that fight or flight like we talked about. But that's one thing that we keep impressing upon people is have that external dialogue. Don't come from a place of fear of, I don't want to walk on eggshells, or if it's something that will, saying, hey, I'm not even sure how to approach this. I've walked on eggshells when we've talked about this before, and I'm hoping we can explore it a little bit more. Are you open to talking about this subject? Even just a lead-in like that a lot of the time helps a person go, oh, okay, yeah, I'm open for it, let's go for it, or I can't even talk about that right now. And then we can put this on the side and go, well, then let's talk about that. What will it take where we're both okay to talk about some of the more difficult stuff?
It's so honest. It's
just
so simply honest.
And that's the beauty of when we lock into our heart and come from that place of intention and saying, okay, I don't want to be right, I want to be with this person. I want to find out what they're experiencing and being able to share my experience. No hidden agendas, nothing else going on, just really being there to connect. And for some reason, that's when the magic tends to happen. That's where we have those breakthroughs. That's where literally the transition of a relationship can change forever and continue to go. It takes that little moment. And it's not perfect. It's not, oh, I should have said this instead of that. That is that internal truth voice and shame coming in. The other side of that is grace.
Yeah.
And again, in that external dialogue of, and I do this quite often, I think I may have overstepped the line when I said this. I just want to own that. That probably felt pretty crappy, and I'm so sorry that I said that. Can we rewind just a little bit and I want to reconnect with you because I went right back to using my weapons. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
It's amazing what that does.
And I just remembered something else, that when I was asking you, he had still been voicing that we did this to him, that we ambushed him. So I'm thinking, the fear part, I don't want him thinking that. I want him to understand it, and I want him to be getting better. So there was that fear, and it's
I want you to see it through my lens.
Yeah, and it's like, is he at a good point? Is he not at a good point? Should he be saying this right now? Should he be feeling this right now? And so,
where in the manual does it say?
That's the control part. I wanted control of where he should be right now.
But having that awareness level, to have that dialogue, that's what is so amazing about you coming into this process as well, and being open to that and saying, oh, okay, that's my control part, and seeing how that's affecting to this conversation. And it's amazing, even when you have that aha moment, whether it's when you're in the middle of the talk or even later. A lot of people don't understand. It's okay to go back to it. A lot of people are like, oh, I wish I would have said that then. You still can.
Yeah,
and so by going back, and I've done this before too. I'll call the person, whether it's later that day or the next day, and say, hey, things didn't end how I was really hoping they would. Can we go back and visit that conversation? Because I think I said something that, oh man, I'm looking back and playing it in my mind, I'm thinking that did not come out the way I wanted it to. Can we revisit that? And so many times when I come to a person like this, most of the time, not always, because sometimes like, no, that really hurt, and go, crap, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, when we do something, we gotta own it. That's one of the most difficult parts.
Yeah.
A lot of times we go, well, I wouldn't have unless you did this. Like,
Pride.
let's pull that back. It is ego, pride.
Yeah.
But when we're able to pull that back and go, oh man, that probably sucked. I gotta own it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, it is, because it's kind of like there's nothing you don't have an answer to. You know, you don't have to worry about not having an answer, because the answer is always just being honest, coming back to the conversation, being compassionate. It's like the key.
Yeah, well, and you brought up a great point, because a lot of times someone's wanting to know the answer down here, and we're only right here. And so it's totally okay to say, you know, I don't know what that holds or what that looks like, but why don't we revisit it in a week or a day or a month, whatever that is. Do I have your permission? Let's go ahead and we'll set a date where we can come back to this topic. If it comes up before, that's fine too. But since we don't know that answer, let's do some research, or let's look into it and then come together and bring what we found to each other. How does that sound? It's amazing how, and that actually is confrontational. Confrontation can be wonderful when it's not a thing of me forcing myself on you or you forcing yourself on me. We're able to say, hey, I want to do some due diligence, find out what we can do together, because our common goal is to be over here with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what it looks like to get there, I don't know. We may even take the wrong course. Cool thing is nowadays we got GPS. No matter how lost we get, we'll Uber.
Yeah.
Emotional Uber. There you go. Okay, so does that help give a little bit of clarity on some of that stuff?